Aloha, it's Lola, your favorite travel correspondent, coming to you directly from the beautiful island of Oahu, Hawaii. I've lived here over 7 years now, and I've accumulated quite a bit of experiences and information that I thought I would share with you. But first, a fun fact. This beautiful flower I'm wearing on my head, it's fake, signifies something in the Hawaiian culture. It actually tells people your relationship status. If you wear it on the left side, it means you're taken. If you wear it on the right side, it means you're single. The way I remember it, it's just something I made up, is if you wear it on the right, you're looking for Mr. Right, and if you wear it on your left, you've left that world behind. All right, now with that fun fact out of the way, let's get to the heart of the video. Pros and cons of living in Hawaii. The first pro, which in my opinion is the most obvious, is the beautiful weather. Hawaii is the closest US state to the equator, and because of that, we have nice, warm, tropical weather throughout most of the year. Here in Hawaii, we have 2 seasons. Summer, also known as Kau in the Hawaiian language, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, lasts from about May to October. Winter, also known in the Hawaiian language as Ho'oilo, not positive I'm pronouncing that correctly, lasts from about November to April. The wettest months are from November to March. The rain is often localized, meaning it can be raining in one neighborhood or literally on one street, and then the next street or neighborhood over, it could be completely dry blue skies, or it could be raining on one side of the island, like over Honolulu, for example, but you drive west about 20 minutes and it's completely dry. Because of that, we're able to pretty much enjoy the beautiful weather year-round, just hop around different parts of the island if it's too gloomy on one side, and honestly, it doesn't really get gloomy for very long. Number 2 on the pros list is the scenery. Hawaii has some of the most beautiful beaches, the most breathtaking mountain ridges, and the most exotic plants and animals that I've ever seen in my life. Sometimes I look out and I wonder, am I looking at a painting? How is this real? Is this CG? There's no way, but it's all real and it's amazing to look at. In fact, Hawaii has approximately 1,400 native plants, 90% of which cannot be found anywhere else in the world. From ferns to hibiscus to birds of paradise. I mean, there's no way I could even begin to tell you just how kind of overwhelming it is to look around and try to name every different plant. Even in the city, in one park, there are just so many different plants. I'll talk more about animals in another video, but just to name a few, there are egrets, common mynas, of course, monk seals, which are only found in Hawaii, apparently. Basically, anytime you go outside and you're not in the heart of the city, you have amazing photo ops that are definitely Instagram worthy. And to go along with the scenery, we get rainbows pretty frequently, which is my pro number 3. And I kind of just threw this in here because it really points out the fact that this is paradise. Because it rains frequently, but even only for a few minutes, there are rainbows all the time. I would wager that there's a rainbow at least once a day on some part of the island, on each island. You'll just be driving down the freeway and there's a rainbow. Like, I've driven through one, in fact. I mean, you know, kind of as you go, it kind of runs away from you, but I've been to the bottom of the rainbow. There were no leprechauns though. And pro number 4 for this video is the aloha spirit. Aloha in Hawaiian means love, but it's also used as a greeting, hello and goodbye. But it means so much more than that. It really is a way of life, a way of treating your neighbor as if they're family, a way of looking out for everyone around you. So what that translates to here in real time is you'll be driving down the street and someone will let you go in front of them. They'll hesitate and wait for you. They'll stop and let you cross the street, which is not the same in a lot of other parts of the country. They'll call you brother, sister, auntie, uncle, out of respect, even though you don't know them, they don't know you. People are generally polite and respectful overall because of the aloha spirit that is really ingrained in the society. Now, don't mistake that kindness for weakness. If you cross a local, you will get an earful, mainly because of the aloha spirit, right? If you come here disrespecting people, that's not okay, and locals will let you know. So if you come here just to visit, make sure to keep that in mind. If you're gonna live here, you definitely are gonna learn that very early on. And hopefully you'll start to take on that aloha spirit for yourself. It's really the best way you're gonna be able to survive here. Kindness and looking out for all of those around you, and also looking out for the land. So picking up trash, certainly not littering. Treating every space you're in as if it's your home, but a home that you are really proud of and you want to take care of. All right, now getting into the cons of this video. I mentioned weather as a pro, but it's also a con in my opinion. Hawaii is the US state that's closest to the equator, and because of that we get the wonderful warm tropical weather, but it's also very humid. I come from San Diego where it's really dry, and even being here over 7 years, I'm still not used to the humidity. Now if you're coming from the south, the southern part of the United States, this is probably going to be nothing for you, and I'm judging that based on what people have told me who are from the south. For me, however, it can be unbearable at times. And also because where I live, we don't have AC. And that I'll get into in another video, but a lot of the housing here is old and doesn't come with AC. So I find myself having to be outside where I can catch the breeze a lot, which, you know, the scenery is nice, so that's not too bad. Right now, for example, it is September 6th, around 2 p.m. It is 84 degrees, feels like 91, 65% humidity. 65% humidity. I don't know about you, but I don't like to sweat. I'm okay with glowing a little bit, but I get so overheated. Now, back when I lived in San Diego, I was always cold. And when I first moved here, I was still wearing scarves and gloves, but I had acclimated to the weather, and now I'm just always hot. I feel like I need to have a fan with me at all times, and I don't understand why it's so hot all of a sudden. I think maybe global warming? I don't know if it's actually, I'll have to go back and check to see if it's actually gotten hotter, but it just sometimes is too much. It's too much. And then when you're in the direct sunlight, I swear by this, the sun feels hotter here. It just does. It feels like spicy. It feels like it's like frying my skin. I think maybe more sensitive to the sun than other people, but I've been told by other people that it feels hotter here too, so I don't think it's all in my head. That being said, and this should have been part of my pros with regards to the weather, because of the humidity, it does keep your skin a little bit more moisturized. Now, obviously you have to be drinking a lot of water for your skin to glow, but because it's not dry here, you're not gonna get cracked lips and super dry skin in the winter months like you would elsewhere in places where it snows, for example. Another con with regards to the weather in Hawaii is the potential for a tsunami. Tsunamis happen when earthquakes or volcanic eruptions happen under the sea, creating large waves. The largest recorded tsunami to hit Hawaii was in 1946. Since then, there have been more than 220 deaths due to tsunamis, 6 of them being on the island of Oahu. And in 2011, the Japan tsunami caused $30 million of damage on the Hawaiian Islands. There's actually a siren drill that they do in Honolulu, and it is terrifying. It's what I imagine the sirens sounded like during World War II. And when I first moved here, I lived in Waikiki, which is right on the beach, although my apartment was a 10-minute walk to the beach. Terrifying. And when I was outside and I would hear it, I would look around and no one else seemed to be nervous or concerned. So I was like, okay, maybe this is just a drill. It's like known, and so people don't talk about it. If you move here, or even if you're just visiting and you hear the siren, don't be alarmed unless you get an actual warning. People around you would be talking about it. Hurricane season is from July to November. Rarely do they actually affect Hawaii, but we do get alerts and we have to prep for a hurricane just in case it hits. But anywhere you go in the world, you're gonna have to worry about natural disasters. Those are just the natural disasters here. Oh, and can't forget about the volcanoes. The volcanoes are actually only on the Big Island. All the other islands were created where the Big Island is, and they migrated over thousands and thousands of years. So none of the other islands have volcanoes. You don't have to worry about that. However, if you're on a neighboring island, you might experience a VOG, which is volcanic fog, those two words mixed together. If the volcano erupts on the Big Island, the VOG will float over to these islands. So if you have allergies, that might be an issue. But if you live on the Big Island and a volcano erupts, then you might be in trouble. In fact, it actually erupted in 2018, and some houses were lost, some roads were bulldozed over with the lava, and now they look totally different. In fact, I visited the island in 2017, and then I went back after, and there was a road that I remember driving on that we couldn't even get past because the lava had just gone right over it. Very scary situation. That is weather-related issue that you have to think about if you're gonna live in Hawaii. Okay, the second con is the bugs. The bugs, the bugs, the bugs. I'm gonna start this by saying, get used to roaches. Yeah, I said it and I meant it. No matter how nice of a place, here, there are roaches. If you stay at a nice hotel, you probably won't see any because they probably have regular exterminators, but it doesn't matter how clean you are, it doesn't matter how tidy you are, there are roaches everywhere here. It's infuriating. They don't just come inside for the food, they come inside for the shelter. It's gross. That is why it's nice to be friendly to our lizard companions, because they will come into your house and they'll eat the roaches. But you need to get an exterminator because if you see one, there are hundreds more. It's so gross. Like, but as gross as this sounds, I've gotten used to seeing them just in general around the island, and so, you know, you get startled when you see one, of course, it's just natural, but they're harmless, they're not gonna hurt you, so it's really not that serious, it's just gross. And if there are a lot of them where you're residing, you can get bad allergies from it. It's just not cleanly, so just something to think about. If you're gonna move here, be prepared for roaches. And of course, not just roaches, but centipedes. Although I have only seen centipedes a few times and they were all dead, so I don't know, there are probably certain parts of the islands where you'll see them more, but certainly centipedes can harm you, so you just gotta watch out for that. I remember watching a video and this guy was talking about the spiders in Hawaii. I haven't come across that, maybe because I always have lived in kind of a city. Maybe if you live more in the jungle, then you'll see a lot of spiders. I haven't encountered that, but just a heads up, I've heard that that's a thing. Fruit flies, a lot of tropical fruits here. You keep bananas in your kitchen, put a cover on it. Weirdly, they don't crawl inside the holes on the cover, so that is a little hack that I figured out. I don't know why they don't crawl through them. They can fit. Someone suggested to me that maybe they don't want their wings to get stuck, so if you're gonna keep fruit in your kitchen in Hawaii, have a cover over it, because within 2 days you will have fruit flies in your kitchen. It's annoying. And other than that, I see randomly all sorts of different kinds of bugs that I still don't know what they are, and that's kind of can be scary because you're like, I don't know if this is harmful or not. There are bugs everywhere, just, you know, like probably everywhere in the world, but in a warm place you're gonna get a lot more species of living creatures in general. It's just more habitable for life in general, and so just be prepared for bugs. If you can't stand bugs, if you get anxiety around bugs, I don't know, you might not want to move here. It's going to be impossible for you to avoid them. It's not really that serious. I've, knock on wood, never been harmed by a bug here that I know of. The third con here, remember how I mentioned aloha? Well, sometimes people are too nice here, and what I mean by that, I'm more specifically talking about the driving. People will give you the right of way when it's your right of way, and it makes it really confusing driving here sometimes. I'm like, I know that they're supposed to be going, but they're stopped, so I'm like, okay, I guess they're waiting for me to go, but like, it's not my turn. Okay, so now I'm gonna start to go, but then they think I'm not going, so they start to go, and then I stop. It's just awkward, and like, I understand, like, it's really kind and it's really sweet, but it makes for a really confusing driving experience, and it can cause accidents. Now, typically, these are situations where people are driving extremely slow in neighborhoods or whatever. It's like they're stopping for you, so if you do get in a wreck, it's probably gonna be a very, very minor fender bender. It's like, I understand you're being nice, I get it, I appreciate you, but like, please just go. Like, you have the right of way, I'm turning, you're going straight, just go. Or like, I have a yield sign, you do not, just go. Please, like, please, for the love of Pele, the volcano goddess, like, just go, please. But anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, the complaint is that people are too nice, like, really? Yeah, this is paradise, I did tell you that, right? Yeah, I meant it. The fourth con and the last point I'm going to talk about in this video is the speed limit. Oh my gosh, the freeway speed limit is 45 miles per hour. I come from California, as I mentioned, and the speed limit on freeways is typically 65, 70, 75, I believe, in some places. And even in other states, I think the speed limit, I want to say in Texas, I want to say when I go to Austin, there are roads where you can go like 80 miles per hour. To come here from the mainland and have to drive 45 miles per hour, it is so, like, at first, it's so frustrating. But if you live here, after a while, you get used to it, to the point where now, when I'm driving the speed limit or like a little over, and people pass me, I want to be like, slow down, this isn't a racetrack, you know, because now I'm so used to living here and driving slow. And then when I go to the mainland and I'm driving, I'm like, oh my God, gosh, like it's kind of scary because people drive so fast. So that can be a con, especially because some parts of the islands, now I'm specifically talking about Oahu, it's gotten more and more crowded here because of the speed limit is so slow. It can kind of like make things a little bit congested, can make driving a little more challenging if you are trying to get somewhere. Just basically, you can't be in a hurry when you live here. You just cannot be in a hurry because you're not going to be able to get anywhere quickly. That's the moral of the story. All that being said, Hawaii obviously is one of the nicest places to live in the United States. So those cons haven't been enough to make me want to move. I still love it here. And if you're thinking of moving here, keep those things in mind. And like I said, make sure you subscribe because I'm going to do more videos like this where I talk about more pros and cons and just what it's like to live here, as well as my other travel excursions. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with people who you might think need this information. And I'll see you in the next video. Aloha!